feel small. That's okay. That song talks about it. Anybody else feel small? Okay. I can't sit down and talk to you myself. And it's hard for me to sit here and feel small because, as you know, South Carolina whooped on Alabama yesterday. And, yeah, how about that? So, I committed to wearing the lifer shirt a couple of days ago before I knew that South Carolina was going to win. So I can't wear my South Carolina shirt today because I committed to that. But I'm full of pride about that. But we're here today to be real humble and real with you. Real about who we are and how we're not at all perfect people. And we wanted to share with you just some of the impact that our week has had in our lives. We went out to a conference in Idaho. It was called Immersion. And it's a conference of a church of about 8,000 people in this little town in Idaho. Is that in the way?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it's a church that is focused on making disciples. It's focused on being real. It's called Real Life Ministries, and it's a bunch of people who are just real and just really trying to share Jesus into the lives of just real people. And they've gone from 4 families in this town of about 12 to 15,000 to over 8,000 people in about 10 years. And they've also planted about 5 or 6 churches in that time. It's just explosive growth because God is at the center of it, and they're focused on Jesus. And a lot of us read a book this spring called Church is a Team Sport, and that's the pastor of that church, is the guy who wrote that book. And so we've been kind of learning from him and wanted to take advantage of a chance to go out together and try to learn some more. And we went hoping to be in a class and learn, but the conference was called Immersion. And what happened was it became an immersion experience, not just a class to go and learn from. And so what we experienced was probably the bigger part of this week for us, not just what we learned, because we read the book, we'd been to a seminar, but this was a true experience. And we want to share kind of personally some of those impacts into each one of our lives. As we think about what real life is doing and what we want New Life to be about in this community, it is about just trying to make disciples of Jesus, to be followers of Jesus. And we've talked some about what is a disciple of Jesus. It's someone who just has become a follower, who wants to go after the life of Jesus and learn from him. But it's someone who is committed to letting him change our life. We want to be like Jesus, not just learn about him, but really be transformed. And it's about someone who is willing to live out the mission of Jesus. He was about changing lives and changing the worldview because we get it all messed up. And so that's what a disciple is. And so then how do we do that? And what we've kind of been learning is that it's about a few different things. One, it's about a biblical foundation. It's about using God's Word and using, what it teaches us about being a disciple. Some of those things I just mentioned to you. And it's about not only having that biblical foundation, but it's about having true relationships. It's about having, one-on-one, small group interaction into people's lives. You've heard us talk about the fact that we want this church to be about small groups, and I'm sure we're going to probably walk all over each other today, but that's okay. But we really want it to be about getting in each other's lives, and small groups is going to be the way that's going to happen. And so they call them relational environments, and that's what a relational environment is. It's a small group of people that meet in a home and just really get involved in each other's lives. But in addition to the biblical foundation and the relational environment, it also takes intentional leadership. being real intentional about this process. And that's something that we're going to be about, is trying to be very intentional about looking at people and trying to pull them into this relationship and sharing with them the biblical process. And so that's sort of the nuts and bolts of what they do. But as we spend our time talking about it, one of the personal things that really hit me about this experience was just looking back at my own ministry. You know, I've been in youth ministry for 24 years. Have been, in addition to that, in the last church, especially that I worked at, have been in charge of outreach and you know, studying the Bible with people, and even spent a little bit of time working with their small groups. And yet, over the years, I really believe that my ministry has sort of evolved, and me personally have really evolved into more of a task-oriented person. And, you know, that's sort of, I'm an organizer, and I'm a planner, and I'm a, you know, make me a to-do list, and I can get focused, and I can work on, you know, getting things checked off my list, things to do. And that's all fine and good. I think God has gifted me with that. But the bad part of that is, I can do that, and I can do ministry without any of y'all, without people. You know, not really effectively. But my struggle, as I look at what we're talking about, and I shared it with these guys, and they said that's what you need to share with everybody else, is that I've got to really stretch and grow in being more intentional in relationships. I can get secluded, and I can get focused on tasks. And this is not about tasks. This is about people. This is about being focused on relationships. And I feel like in the year that I've been here, and I can, you know, I was talking to Laurie this morning, I can make lots of excuses and could go on and on about why I think I've kind of become the way that I am. But I really want to change. And I was convicted this week that I need to be more just open to you. And be more open and intentional at letting you get to know me and being in your life and being relational. I think in the last year, a lot of y'all have known me for a year, but you look at me and you go, I don't really know you. You know? And I look at some of you and go, I'm not very close to you. I don't have a deep relationship with you. And I'm convicted about that. That's got to change. If we're going to be the family of God, if we're going to be a group of people that make a difference in the lives of people that need Jesus, we've got to be real. We've got to be deep. And so it starts in this family, but it also then, for me, goes to building relationships with people that aren't here yet. You know, the other thing that I kind of confess to these guys, I struggle with relationships with people who don't know Jesus. I mean, I've been that guy who works in a church and all my friends go to church. And I moved to this community and I work for a church, and unless you go to Forest Mill where we came from, I didn't have a lot of relationships. And I've kind of secluded myself over the years to where it scares me to think of going out and making relationships because I'm not in that environment. So, you know, I'm just kind of trying to be transparent with you today that I realize for me there's some things that I need God to do in my life to help me to connect with people. I'm not afraid of people. I'm not like a non-personable person, I don't think. But it's just something that I've got to do better. And I've got to let God push me. And so that's just sort of, I hope, maybe say, but I'm trying to be as open as I can be about. I know I've got a lot of growing to do in this process, and I want your prayers for me. I want your encouragement with me. I want you guys to give me a chance to get to know you and to open up to me as well. And so, thanks.
I thought it was perfect. You know, we go out to Idaho, and of course, and this will actually kind of become funny to you after I finish what I'm saying. But before we went, I kind of